Hey YouTube, it's Alicia here, and I am here to give you a WWE video, but it's not a typical video. I have done a video like this once before, and we're going to talk about that particular video later, if also in this video, but at the end. And we're going to have potential video WWE matches they could be doing. So I don't know how many of y'all are like me and are probably sick and tired of seeing the same people being in the title picture. Like I love Rhea Ripley. I love her look. I love her and things. But I'm getting sick and tired of Vince McMahon putting a certain somebody in the title picture. How many times she's been in the title picture in the last few months? Almost every time. To me, it's time for WWE to give somebody else a chance. Okay. With Bianca, how many times I like seeing Bianca as women's champion, but I'm going to say I don't want to always see her going up against people who really don't have no business going up against her, who really don't need a title belt opportunity. Y'all get what I'm saying? Same thing with the men. With Roman Reigns, he's the Universal Champion, and I'm just sick and tired of seeing him going up against the same people. But I want to see people we have never seen go up against him and see what kind of matches we can get. Same thing with Bobby Lashley. I want to see people. I don't want to always see let's talk about the last, I think, 2 months. It's January. What it is. It is July the 2nd. And this is just probably just me. I do not want to see the same people going for the title belts. Now, I want to start with the men because I want to start off with the men because when I come back, I'm going to be talking about my very first potential feud. And I'm going to make a claim to something, and I want y'all to comment below. Okay, so the people who I want, let me start off with Roman Reigns. He's the Universal Champion. I like him. I like his sort of like, he's not baby face. He's sort of like a baby face heel and thing, and I like that. And he just shows us a little something different and everything. He's like supposed to be head at the table. We never know when we're going to actually finally do see Roman Reigns versus The Rock. That's just that. I'm sorry, we don't know when we're going to get that, but I know everybody, all the fans wants to see that and thing. So for the people who I listed, that has never got who I have listed for him to wrestle for the Universal Champion, I think I picked somebody who is very good and stuff. Okay, and the reason I feel I picked some pretty good people, but listen to what I got. I have Shinsuke Nakamura, I have Chad Gable, I have Cesaro, Big E, and Apollo Crews. These 5 guys has never had a top title opportunity. I'm naming it. All these guys has been like mid-card, held one of those mid-card titles. If it wasn't the U.S. title belt, from the U.S. title belt to the Intercontinental title belt, or tag team. Okay. I think these guys are good. My top 3, when it comes to Roman Reigns, my top 3, I have to say I would want to see would have to be Cesaro. Let me just say my top 4. Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, Becky, and Apollo Crews. Those four, I can actually see holding that universe title. And I just feel like out of the five that I picked, I think the four that I do see, the top two I can actually really see maybe dethroning Roman Reigns if WWE give it, if they do the feud, give the feud, nurture the feud, let us see a feud from these two. I would want to see Apollo Crews versus Roman Reigns. That's the guy I would actually put. For years, y'all know for years, if anybody who follows me on my Twitter, I have always put questions about this. Can Apollo Crews ever hold a top title belt? And I see now they can. He's much more of a heel. He's not a babyface heel, but he's a heel. I can see him holding that title belt because he has something different. He has to use something unique now. And I just feel like it took y'all this long to get something, a good gimmick for him. This is something I can see him doing. And I can see him being a Universal Champion with that gimmick. Now, do I believe if WWE do give Apollo Crews a chance, do I think they will nurture a feud with it and let it? I could say with Apollo Crews versus Roman Reigns, that would be a year-long feud. I'm sorry, y'all, but I have to be honest. This could be a year-long feud. Who would not want to see this? So yeah. So the next person is Cesaro. As y'all know, Cesaro's in this big storyline with Seth Rollins, and I can actually see, let's say, WWE with the storyline to end the story, this big storyline. Whoever wins gets a title belt opportunity, a future Universal Championship opportunity for Roman Reigns' title. Now, we have seen Seth Rollins wrestle Roman Reigns in the past. We probably don't want to see that. We want to see Cesaro. I can see Cesaro winning that title. This is an opportunity. That would be an opportunity where they can actually have Cesaro win this champion, win over Seth Rollins, and get a future title belt down the road for that Universal Championship. And it's just, it's like, if WWE just nurture it, I really believe we have something. Now, you know, Bobby Lashley, he holds the WWE Championship. Y'all know he won that from Drew McIntyre. No offense, I love Drew McIntyre. He's one of my favorite male wrestlers at the moment. I like Bobby Lashley as well. But I just don't want to see Drew go down. To me, I feel like Vince McMahon is kind of, in a way, burying him. Think about it. Kind of burying him. He's supposed to be the golden boy. Let's think about it. Drew's supposed to be the golden boy. And to me, he's kind of dragging him down. I don't want to see... Drew can still be like another in the title in some kind of way to form. But it's like, I want to see him have another feud. I could see him doing a whole different feud. And we'll have to wait and see where that goes. But I really can say Drew has what it takes. But I'm just want to see somebody else in the title picture. And so what I'm saying is, WWE, you have all these guys that's still there. Please give these guys a chance. Like, so the people for Bobby Lashley, Eilish, Jacxson, Ryker, Shelton Benjamin, Titus O'Neil, Ricochet, and Mufasa Ali. Out of everybody, I know y'all gonna say, Alicia, why you put Titus O'Neil in there? As y'all know, Titus O'Neil is a former tag team champion. Have we seen him wrestle in the last few years? No, we haven't. And anytime WWE is doing charity work, they use him to promote. He's a charity guy and everything. Yes, but have we seen him compete in the last few years? No. Have he had any title belts in the last few years? No. Do we want to see him hold the title belt? Yes, we do. I believe, and this is me, I believe Titus O'Neil does have what it takes to be a WWE champion if Vince McMahon can just get rid of that grudge he has against him. I talked about that. So y'all I will try to list some of the videos on certain people at the bottom, so make sure you go and check those out. Now, the second person, I can see Ricochet being WWE champion. He has been champion. He's been in numerous, let's talk about numerous, and let me say it again, numerous wrestling companies. But everybody would not know that he was once part of Lucha Libre Underground. Y'all probably going, Liz, you know he wasn't. Think of his tattoos. Think of where his tattoos. Because I'm going to tell you. Ricochet, when he was on Lucha Underground, was known as Prince Puma. Now, he was champion over there. He was champion for a long time over there. And I just feel like WWE is not using him in the right way. And I'm going, why not? I can see him having a great match with Bobby Lashley and giving us that feud, giving us a real good feud. I can see this feud being sort of like, oh my God, David and the Goliath thing. We have always had something like this in the WWE for a long time. Another David and Goliath thing. I can see him. So yeah, Mufasa Ali. I would want to see him in that title picture. It's just, who wouldn't? Now, Jacxson Ryker, he's being built in a good way. And I just think, do we want to see Jacxson Ryker in this position as for WWE's champion? I think it is. Even though WWE's going to have the draft in a couple of months, in a month or two, I really believe Jacxson Ryker needs to be pushed to be in the men's Raw's title contention for that WWE title belt. Okay, last but not least, Shelton Benjamin. Come on, Shelton Benjamin used to be part of the Hurt Business. Who would not want to see Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley versus Shelton Benjamin? I think that would be something we would probably want to see. And I wonder, could Shelton Benjamin build himself up to where, he could win that title from Bobby Lashley? We need to think about this. And you always thinking, it's the same people as always getting title belt opportunities. So here's some names I'm listing on the men's side who could be going for the title belt. Now, we'll come back at a later date and do tag team. I'm just wanting to give you this. Now, let's go on to the women. So we're going to start with SmackDown. Bianca Belair, she won the women's title belt, SmackDown women's title belt away from Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks will be mentioned in here. So, yeah. So, I came up with only 3 because I'm tired of seeing the same people trying to go after Bianca for a title belt. So, in no order, we have Liv Morgan. I feel like Liv Morgan has made an impact over this past year. Even though she is the last standing Riot member in the company, I feel like she has something that this is where they need to be going with right now with Liv. They need to be, I can actually see Liv Morgan versus Bianca, and that can be built up over time. Just build up that feud. Just don't be too quick to build it up, but just take your time and build up this feud with her and she gets a big pay-per-view opportunity. It's just something I think us fans probably would want to see for her. Now, the next person is Tamina Snuka. As y'all know, last summer we got to see Tamina Snuka go up against Bayley for that women's title belt. I want to see Tamina versus Bianca Belair, because I really believe the style of wrestling that Bianca does and the style of wrestling Tamina does, I think if you nurture it and build it on up, I think you can get where I'm going with this. This is a feud we want to see. You build it up. I think this could be a potential feud we could get, because, like I'm saying, if they build it up in the right way, I think it would be a phenomenal feud. Especially Tamina versus Bianca for the women's for the Raw Women's Championship. I mean SmackDown Women's Championship. So yeah, yeah, I can actually see that. But all right, the next one is a doozy. I had bitch and Sasha. And why not? Bitch and Sasha here. Oh, gotta change that water out. Excuse me, y'all. And I want to say this. I can see Sasha come back, and they built this Sasha and Bianca feud back up for Sasha can try to regain that SmackDown Women's Championship. That makes more sense. These are the three women that makes more sense for Bianca right now. They could be doing this right now, and like I always said, you never know. So last but not least is Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea Ripley, as y'all know, it's several people that could have her wrestle. Now, in recent months, y'all know Raw has, when Vince McMahon has his hand on anything, you know, other women are not is not given opportunities. So my thing is, how can the women get their opportunities on Raw? One, get their opportunities. Number two, not always the same typical person being in the title picture. So I wrote down some names, and it's not in no typical order. So one person I can actually see Rhea Ripley going up against will have to be Alex Bliss. Now, the reason I say Alex Bliss, now, if y'all remember back here when we had the Women's Royal Rumble, yes. And all the women beat down Alex Bliss before she was going to turn into the Alex Bliss Firefly Funhouse. And Rhea Ripley, tossed her out of the ring. I would think they would have built something up with that, but they didn't. I think if they went back to that and built her up, started, let's just say, let me see how I can put this. Let's say Rhea, she's still women's champion, but Alex goes, I owe you. I'm coming to get you what you did to me a couple of months ago. I mean, come on, who would not want to see Alex Bliss do something like that? Go after Rhea Ripley for the women's title belt, because what Rhea threw her out of the ring. It makes more sense, and I mean, that's a real good, I'm starting off with a real good one, a real good build up for Rhea Ripley. All right, another one, Mandy Rose. I think Mandy Rose is ready for a women's title belt opportunity. I really do. I really believe she is. I just want to see how she would do. So I really want to see. I really believe we can get a good, I would say, a 3-month feud right there, because you building you're going to build these girls up. Then now we have Nikki Cross. I'm going to say Nikki Cross. I am not saying what they call her now. But Nikki Cross, she has been doing well-deserved. Well-deserved. This is a well-deserved person. And like I'm saying, let me just get this out of the way. I do not like what they are doing with her now. I just felt like they just should just kept the Nikki Cross thing. And I feel like Nikki Cross, if you build her up and put her back in the, as we remember last year, we always kept seeing Nikki Cross getting title belt. Which it was her and Alex Bliss before Alex Bliss turned to the Alex Bliss we see now. We always kept seeing Alex Bliss and Nikki Cross together, and Nikki Cross was getting title belt opportunity after opportunity. This is the time where I feel like they need to give her. She has, how many times has she beaten CF? How many times has she beaten Rhea Ripley? She hasn't beat Rhea Ripley yet, but she's beat CF several times. And I just feel like we gotta build and build and build. I think if she's built up the right way for a women's title belt run, I really believe we can get a pretty good title belt. Now, let's talk, before I talk about these big two people I really believe deserve, let's talk about Becky Lynch. I really believe that Becky Lynch come back in. If she comes back in and I wonder if she's going to be put in the title belt opportunity, or if she's going to try to earn her opportunities. So it's the two different things. That's the one thing with me. I really say either show will benefit with her, but I want to see what she would bring this time. I mean, the nemesis broken nose thing, thanks to Nia Jax, made her huge, made her the biggest superstar. So we're going to have to see where that will go. All right, now let's talk about Dana Brooks. Now, Dana Brooks is my number 2. And the reason is, I feel like she's my number 2 to get a title belt opportunity. The reason I say this, Dana Brooks used to be associated with CF. So if y'all don't know who CF is, you probably know why I won't say her name. But to say this, I'm saying Dana Brooks because for so many years, I have talked about her, how she needs to be in that title picture, in that women's title picture. And when I see Dana Brooks, I see a little bit of Joni Lawler in her. Rest in peace to China. I see a little bit of China in her. And I don't get why WWE don't see that. She has a little bit of China in her, so why you're not pushing her in that right way? I mean, you could be like putting Dana Brooks in that title picture. Have Dana ever got an opportunity for that women's title belt? No, she hasn't. So, I mean, she does step part. She's working hard. She has done everything. I can just say this. Dana versus Ripley. I think that would be a good year-long feud. So, that's just my opinion. So, now we're going to talk about the biggest, and I say the biggest upset. And the reason I call it the biggest upset, Naomi. I think Naomi is one great female wrestler. She's a former 3-time women's champion. And like, I'm going to say this, why you are overlooking her? And y'all, I don't get this, and I'm going to mention this. Why when every time, like, let's say one of the Usos, her husband, or one of the Usos is out on injury, they take her off TV? Do they do that to Roman Reigns? No, they don't. No, they don't. To me, I can see a real good year-long feud with Naomi and Rhea Ripley. But I don't think we're going to get it. I hope when this draft comes, that she is drafted back to SmackDown. Hope Roman Reigns stays on SmackDown. I just think it's just time for Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Jay, and Jimmy Uso, Tamina, Naomi, and Nia Jax. It's time for all this family to be together as a faction. It's time for them to be together as a faction. So I want y'all to picture this. Picture this. Roman Reigns take that Universal Championship over to Raw. Let's say they all go to Raw. They all want to be on Raw. And on Raw, you have all of them on Raw. You have Roman Reigns as the Universal Champion. Then you have Jay and Jimmy Uso, who becomes the Raw's champions, tag team champions. Then that's the 3 men of the family. Then you have Nia and Tamina, who wins the women's tag team championship. Okay, boom. Then you have Naomi wins the Raw women's tag team champion. What happens? That'd be a great thing to see. Cause see, this particular family holding all the gold on Raw and fighting all comers. So you see where I'm getting? This is something what I've been wanting to see for years, but WWE won't do it. To get me to say, I think it's time for them to do this. Now let's talk about my last potential feud video. And as anybody knows, I talk about this a lot on Twitter. People on Twitter has asked me when was this video done? And when I say it was done February 2nd, and they go, wait. Because they was thinking I was doing it. I did it after. I said, check the date. And when some of them will go and check the date, and they go, oh my God. That's when they all start agreeing that a WWE writer took one of my ideas off my video and is now not acknowledging where he originally got it. And I just like to say, I'm not pissed about it. I'm just wondering, is it just a coincidence that WWE might have came across my video, saw that I did this potential wrestling feud video, and they are doing the Seth Rollins Casaro feud. So let me ask y'all, is it just a coincidence that I talked about it and WWE did it, or do y'all think somebody on the writers team took something from my video? All right, y'all, that's all I have time for. Until then, I'm Alicia. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.